for violating the Money Laundering Act. Well, of course, Dr. Doyin Okupe, a former senior special assistant to ex-president Goodluck Jonathan, he was on Monday, that was yesterday, found guilty of receiving over 200 million naira cash from a former national security advisor, Colonel Sambo Dasuki, retired. And then he was sentenced to 2 years imprisonment by Justice Ijoma Ojukwu of the Federal High Court in Abuja, with an option of 500,000 naira fine on each of the 26 count charges for which he was found guilty. Now, delivering her judgment, Justice Ojukwu held that Okupe, who is the first defendant in the suit that was filed by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, violated the Money Laundering Act. And she said he had up to 4:30 p.m. to pay the fine option, that's 13 million naira, on all the charges he was found guilty of, or be sent to the Kuje Correctional Center. All right. So in Justice Ojukwu also, in sentencing Okupe, considered the pleadings for leniency from the convict's wife, Omolola, and his son, Adesunkomi. So let's look at the Money Laundering Act. The Money Laundering Act provided that no individual or organization shall receive any sum above 5 million naira, that's for individuals, and 10 million naira for an organization without passing through a financial institution. So according to what happened here, there is no evidence that money passed through a financial institution. And Okupe was not a financial institution. All right. So that's the story. And well, of course, he has paid the fine before the deadline and then was allowed to go. All right. Joining me for this conversation to help us understand how this whole thing works is Professor Richard Wokocha, who is a legal professional, a legal practitioner, and of course, Professor of Constitutional Law and Jurisprudence. You're welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you, Constance.
All right. So, first of all, do you think this particular matter is going to serve as a deterrent to maybe some other people who, should I say, do not know or who have refused to adhere to the law in this regard, the Money Laundering Act?
Yes. Part of the reasons for criminalizing wrong conduct and prescribing punishments is to deter others from doing the same thing. So yes, it should deter others. The normal expectation is that when they see that the law is working, that what is written in the law is being implemented, then they will think again before they take the risk, knowing that if they are caught, they will suffer the fate that the convict has suffered. So yes, it will help to deter.
All right. So being that he was convicted by a law court, can we say, does it mean that he is corrupt?
Of course, he is an ex-convict violating the Money Laundering Act. So definitely, it's something that borders on want of integrity and corruption. So yes.
Interesting. Now, there's another angle to this because Doyin Okupe has also been speaking. He says he is more like he's innocent. I'm trying to find the way he actually put it there. He says that those who are the enemies have tried in so many ways, but keep failing. Victory is of God. He said lies, fabrication, and disinformation are their tools. But in the end of the day, or in the end, they will fail and be shamed. And then he also says many other things that he actually mentioned there. So I'm actually thinking now, if really he is not guilty, as he has said himself regardless of what the court has ordered or the conviction from the court. Is there anything he can still do about this legally, at least to clear his name?
The normal thing is that if he is convinced that he was not properly adjudged guilty, he was not supposed to pay the fine, what he should have done is to file an appeal immediately. So paying the fine is serving the prison sentence. You don't get convicted, you even place for leniency, and then you serve the time, and you come out and talk of enemies at work. It's inconsistent with the fact that you just read out. That should have been so if he was not convicted or his trial was still going on and he is hopeful that the court will not find him guilty. But the court found him guilty and he pleaded for leniency, which is to say temper justice with mercy. And so you cannot in the circumstance be talking of enemies at work and they will fail when you have already served the time.
So part of what the monies he collected were said to have been used for were for running his office, payment of staff members, and some other things he mentioned there. But the courts held that receiving such amounts in cash violated the Money Laundering Act. Now, for someone who received these monies, all right, and he used it for official purposes, was there no way that he could have been cleared, being that he didn't receive the money to use the money for himself?
You know, the law contains a number of things. There are provisions dealing with operations relating to narcotics and other illegal activities. There are provisions relating to some other transactions, and then you have this simple provision in the law that no individual should transact in cash beyond XYZ amount. No corporate organization should transact in. If you do so, you have broken the law. If you did not know, you will say, I'm sorry, I did not know. Of course, that, as you know, ignorance of the law is not an excuse. But the court may consider that fact that you have said you did not know that that is the provision of the law. And then the court can consider that in deciding what the punishment should be. But that doesn't change the fact that you have broken the law. So he acted in breach of the law. He acted in breach of the law. He did not mean well. Whether he meant well or he did not mean well, the point remains that the law has been breached. Those who are transacting with him should have ensured that they work in accordance with the law, because once you go outside the law, you are outside the law.
So how about the fact that he was working in an office, right? So here's what I'm thinking. He was working as a senior special assistant to the president.
Yes.
And he received this money or these monies to run things, part of which is also for the president. So the person for whom he did what he did, how come the person is not also indicted?
The president.
Yes, please. The former president.
Now, you need to deal with the entire facts before the case. These facts he explained, money and all.
Which